Gallagher, Managing Director at IDEA Global. Let's start with Cyprus, Mike. Extra $6 billion needed. Where's that going to come from?
Well, the documents are suggesting that that will actually come from a greater haircut in terms of the uninsured depositors. So it's not extra money coming from Europe, it's actually extra money coming from depositors in Cypriot banks.
And you think that's going to go smoothly?
I think there was hints of this earlier in the week, and sort of suggestions that the uninsured depositors would potentially get up to a 60% haircut. That's those depositors over 100,000. So I think the market is largely on board with this already. And although we may or may not get a formal rubber stamping of the deal this week, I think people feel that the Cypriot deal will occur. And I think the focus is shifting on to other countries, to be honest.
And that's why the euro has done okay and peripheral yields are down.
Yeah, I think there's generally sort of a sense that with the ECB, OMT and global liquidity, that unless there's a major adverse news event in Europe, you're not really going to see sort of Europe rocked. And I think it's got to be something major, i.e. it's got to be sort of major Italian or Spanish news.
What else is going to come out of this meeting, do you think?
I don't think we'll necessarily see anything sort of concrete sort of coming out of the meeting. It's a closer decision than the market thinks in terms of Portugal getting an extension for 7 years. It is perfectly feasible, but more likely it is that it gets delayed. But I don't think we'll see a market reaction to that.
All right.
And I think, if anything, the market's going to switch to next week's G7 and IMF meetings and the whole question of the yen.
Okay, and what do you expect to happen there? Do you think we'll see movement on the yen around that meeting?
Well, it's interesting. The market's kind of run out of steam a little bit in the last 2 days in terms of yen weakness. We haven't been able to launch an attack on 100 on dollar yen. And I think that's largely because the flows in the last 6 trading sessions or so have been predominantly speculative in nature and haven't necessarily been Japanese investors immediately redirecting money outside of Japan. So the market's in a corrective phase, I think, for the yen shorts. And it is worth pointing out that before the February G20 meeting, that Europe, China and other emerging market countries were critical of Japan's devaluation policy. And I think we'll see some of that pre-posturing occurring next week from a lot of other countries, not the US, but other countries. And that could perhaps prompt a bit of a further correction in the yen. Doesn't necessarily stop the yen's downtrend, but can produce more volatile trading next week.